Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast, where grit meets growth. With your host, Nick Espanet, bringing you stories of resilience, reinvention, and the real climb to success.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Today, we are joined by Suresh Narayanan. He is an aviation executive. He has, I'll let him go a little more into detail with his company, Jets MRO. Suresh, welcome to the show. Please, glad to have you. Can you let everybody know a little snapshot of what you are doing in business right now?
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Nick. So Jets MRO is headquartered in Dallas, Texas. We do scheduled maintenance and unscheduled maintenance on business jets. So think AutoZone of the sky. And our focus in Dallas is Lear jets, Citations, and Challenger jets. So we'll take in customer aircraft to do all the maintenance, short and big, heavy, long, everything here in Dallas. And then in South Florida, we acquired a small business that does component repairs. And so for any aircraft, if it requires any type of metallic metal repair, that company helps support the piece part repairs for the aircraft.
Awesome. That's a very kind of niche market. How did you get into this industry?
I had no choice. I grew up in it, so
Okay.
Brainwashed early. But I love aviation. I grew up in it. My dad was a Concorde mechanic.
Oh,
I grew
wow.
up going to his repair station. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and he had a small aviation repair station. So that was what I grew up in. Then when I moved to Dallas, I went to grad school at SMU for my MBA. But my older brother, Raj, was growing a really cool engineering and repair station. And so I joined his business, and we grew a pretty cool business together that he still operates, doing all the certification, engineering as an independent option for a lot of big airline and business jet operators. And then I went on to run a small charter airline here in Dallas. And then I went and started Jets MRO. So really it's all I know. I'm a pilot as well, and my family is a lot of experienced, awesome aviation folks. So I'm just following their footsteps.
Awesome. It's such a neat area, and it just the side benefits that you can travel, being a pilot and being able to get places easier than a lot of people. What a neat story that you have there. So, probably within that industry though, there, maybe it's more niche, but there's competition within that. What do you think sets you guys apart versus maybe some of your competitors?
So I think one in the industry, it's a small community but a big industry. So I've really worked hard on building and maintaining like professional relationships, even with people that do the same thing we do. But the founding ethos of Jets MRO and why I wanted to go start this business was, in our industry, there is a mechanic shortage, but I was really put off by the mechanic turnover issues that the whole maintenance industry was experiencing in the US. And so I looked at that. I'm talking 40% plus turnover in the technician space. I go, something's wrong with that. The shortage is one thing affecting aircraft coming into maintenance and going out on time. But if you can't retain a team in any business to the point of 40, 50%, how do you produce your product on time with high quality? And so I said, why are people jumping around so much? The experienced folks, why are they leaving the industry? And that's what I wanted to fix and disrupt, not how maintenance is done or anything on the operational side. And so we founded the business on a simple ethos that said, look, we're going to focus on the mechanic. We're going to put them first. And then in the long run, hopefully we can attract really good talent, keep it, and then they can produce a good aircraft on time if we have the same folks in the industry or in the company. And we win the turnover battle. And so that's what we did. And so the business was founded on that principle. We have free family benefits. We don't do any forced overtime. So we try to staff it right. We're open 7 days a week. And then we just try to do a good job of listening and implementing change. So just putting people really first, but really doubling down on that concept is what we're doing different and what sets us apart. There's nothing wrong with how the industry has been operating. We chose to really attack that issue. And again, a lot of the other competitors are friends, and I ask them for favors as a newer business. But that's what we're focused on as a business going forward.
Well, I love it because you're focusing on your employees or your techs, but that's going to reflect out to your end customer too. Because if your employees are feeling cared for, they're going to care for your customers. And so what a great concept, because that's turnover. I'm in the multifamily world, and if we can't keep staff in our offices, then we're not going to keep tenants in our units either. Just because you're training somebody, just the logistics of it, but you want somebody that wants to be there, that's going to care and make your tenants feel welcome also and cared for.
But it's really hard. And this is in any business. If you can really put people first, and I believe in any business, small or large, like I'm not the product. I don't want to be the smartest person in the business. And the leader shouldn't, in my opinion.
Sure.
Your team is actually delivering the service or product to your customer. So how do you really put them first? And there's 1,000 things you can do, but the discipline to continuously do it and listen is really hard for businesses. Everyone's values have people first in it these days. But I really look and go, how do you show that objectively? And then you got to look at the numbers to make sure that it supports it. And so even as a new business, we're always learning, we're always challenged, and we don't always have it right. And I think that vulnerability is probably what every business needs a little bit of, is to say, yeah, this year we got it right because we're new. But do we get it right year 2, 3, or 4? What are the new things we got to keep developing to maintain it? And the objective number is going to tell us if we're doing it right or wrong.
Sure. When I like that you set your turnover, I'm sure you guys have an internal metric or goal you want your turnover to be. I mean, you're not going to have 100%, but whatever that, you got to find where that happy medium. I mean, what is a good number? Is 80, 90, 95%?
10% voluntary turnover or under. Voluntary is we got fired by an employee. So something we did wrong. If we get fired, something's wrong. But I don't want to also keep anyone that shouldn't be part of the team culture or values. So that's what we say. Voluntary turnover is what we're attacking. Involuntary is part of a business, unfortunately. And I want folks to be empowered to, hire slow but fire fast when they're thinking about the best interest of the team and their growth.
No, great stuff. So is there something within business or even just life that you find comes easy to you that maybe others find challenging?
Nothing comes easy. It's all hard. Even though I've now done this a couple times at some different companies, it's never comforting. So I think to every person, it depends what your pain tolerance is. I'm learning that in a newer business. We've only been open for 19 months. Okay. We've done some tremendous things in a short period of time, but it is brutal. And even though I thought I was ready for it, we have a plan. It's like getting punched in the face every day. So resilience, persistence, and the ability to just keep standing and keep going, that's a human trait any entrepreneur needs. And I try to remind myself during the darkest lows of a new business or big challenges, just get back up, keep going. It's like being in the gym and trying to do curls or a bench press, and you've done 20 of them and you can't do one more. In business, it's like, great, figure out a way to do one more and then do another one, and you just can't stop. So I think that human ability to keep pushing at whatever that next level is. And I love sports and business, so I look at it as kind of a sports formula. Is what's that next gear? And when you fall down, how do you get back up? That human resilience is a key part of what I try to think about every single day going through challenges of a new business.
That's awesome. And resilience, you see on the sign, is one of our key principles within the Flex Forward podcast. And I think as an entrepreneur, you have to have that, because you're going to get knocked down and beat up at times, and being able to dust yourself off, move forward. And also, I think that's part of the entrepreneurial spirit, is taking those lumps and bruises and learning from them and getting up and doing that one more curl, one more push up, or whatever it is even it means you got to maybe shake something out for a second, then get up and get going again to knock out another rep or take another step forward in the right direction.
Yeah, I have this vision board behind me that says win on it, which is a key word for me. But in there's a lot of like motivating sports quotes that I really like. And sometimes during a tough week, every day I go look at it for a quick second, remind myself that, like, look, this is just, it's human energy. If I can figure it out, how to get the energy to keep going, take a pause, emotionally, and move forward, I can help our team be the best versions of themselves. And that's big, because as entrepreneurs, I can get frustrated. And then if I go out to my team with that frustration, or I'm not the best version of myself, they're going to follow that lead and be like that. And so I have days where I don't want to talk to anyone because I'm grinding, and I got to really remind myself, hey, what's my team thinking if they see me? And a cool part of our business, we allow kids here. So I had my 7-year-old here the last couple of weeks. And that's how I grew up, going to my dad's repair station. So super cool experience. But one day he walked in and goes, hey, you look stressed. And I'm like, I do? I had no idea. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And my 7-year-old tells me I look like that. how is my team able to come talk to me if that's just the look I'm giving? And I was stressed, but I wasn't doing a good job of realizing how I was coming off. And he goes, yeah, and you're kind of snippy. I go, oh man, what a amazing revelation from a 7-year-old that
That's
day
awesome.
that made me think about a week after, like, how does my team feel with me that given week when I'm going through a challenge? They probably saw the same thing to a higher degree because they're professionals. But it's so interesting how that human behavior is a huge part of an entrepreneur and leader's success. But it takes every minute always thinking about it and working on it.
It's an energy that you're either giving out a positive or negative, not to get too off out there, but I think it can be a smile versus a frown kind of energy that you're passing on, but there may be more than that. It's just what people, if your 7-year-old's picking up on it, just like you said, your staff is really picking that up. So have you found, if some of our listeners may want to learn more about how you've learned to overcome things or to move forward, is there any tips or suggestions, any podcasts, books, anything along those lines that maybe you have used to help frame the way you handle things?
So, like, what do I listen to now? I read a book called Traction, Entrepreneurial Operating
Yeah.
System. It's something we've implemented at the
EOS.
business. That was a EOS was a great like minimum requirement. Let's have a structure, right? Of any business you start, big or small, you should have a structure, scorecards, the basic environment. Whether you have one employee or I think for them it's like 300's the limit, but I've had 1,200 employees. I just go look, find some structure. That's the easy part. For me, it's always finding the next motivation, right? So I listen to like the Gary V podcast, which is about marketing, but I really love the resilience, kind of suck it up and keep moving forward mentality I get from listening to those, and a lot of sports stories. So like I love watching different sports stories to see what challenges they go through. I was at an SMU luncheon yesterday, and it was really awesome for a group called the 1911 group. And there's a lot of football players there, and some of them have been injured for a year. Some of them have gone through all these adversities. And I love sports and business. And so it was neat hearing how they got through things. And it made me think, I'm like, what am I complaining about? And I need to suck it up. So just every week finding different sources of motivation is really important. Whether it's competition, someone saying something bad about you, someone doubting you, I look for those and need those to drive me. And that's important, I think, for any entrepreneur to find whatever drives them and just know what that is.
Oh, good stuff. Having that something that's going to give you the boost or pick you up. So in your journey to get to where you're at today, what is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome?
I think as much as my heart's in the right place of what we're trying to do in our industry by really putting people first, it's been slower and harder to get customers who manage aircraft in our world. They all believe and love what we're doing, but what I was naive to is the sales cycle, reluctance to change in aviation. And in maintenance, there's not a lot of people who have aircraft that are saying, hey, it's going really well. Like, I'm not entering a market that is a degree of excellence. There's a lot of challenges. We're not getting planes out on time. There's a mechanic shortage. And so I'm like, great, I'm bringing a solution to a problem. But it's not like they'll flop and use me the next week. There's actually a longer process. So understanding that I was a little naive and overzealous, and then now our biggest challenge is, hey, let's get the word out there and let's make sure we market value add. Let's talk about what we're doing so other people can share and take what we're doing, maybe do better in their business. Like we just shared our pay scale 2 weeks ago openly with everyone, and just doing things that actually make a difference but help others in the hopes that people will see that it's going to help them produce a better aircraft on time. The product is going to be different. It just takes time. So I've been learning patience as a challenge, but more on the just getting more sales here. Initially, like a year ago, I had a different problem. It was, how do I build this team? And a lot of people think we're a startup. There's a lot of risk there for good folks to jump towards us. So now that we've built an awesome team, it's continuing to just get the right aircraft in, the right customers, and then just execute. So it's a very simple one-sided problem. Whereas last year, we didn't have a facility yet. We were growing the team. We didn't have our FAA full license. Now it's just a simple business challenge. So simplifying that and attacking it, although it is a challenge, is what we're working on right now.
Sound like you guys are headed in the right direction. And I'm just with maintaining, the decreasing that turnover of your techs, I think it may take a bit, but once people know and they go back and they see the same guy that maybe did a great job or girl on their plane last time, and that person's going to be the one servicing their plane again, I think that you're going to lock them in. I would for me because we have a couple older cars and we have a mechanic, and I love the same guy working on it, all the time. So getting that relationship, not so much with your salesperson, but with the mechanic for your end customer, I think will be huge. Awesome. Well, it sounds like things are going well in business. As a lot of people start having more and more success, they start thinking about future or creating some type of passive income to either enhance or maybe one day replace what they're currently doing. If you have any thoughts on passive income and how that builds into your future?
Yeah, one, I'm really awful at it. And a lot of my friends who have done that, whether it's rental houses or ancillary business investments, I'm envious, but I've never figured that out. I've always been I'm all into Jets MRO, and I've tried to dabble outside of aviation or consulting, go, hey, I would love to help other businesses. I'm really bad at it. And so I'm the worst person to ask. I know I should do it. It'd be cool to have that, but I have not been successful. And it's one of my weaknesses at building anything outside like my main focus at the time. I just haven't figured that out. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but like as years pass, I look back and go, well, I wish I had XYZ, and I haven't built that just yet. So I tell folks, like, I get the idea of being somewhere and trying to start something that ends up being your full-time job, but I'm really bad because I want to just jump into it, solve a problem, and go all in. And so I haven't been as smart as my other friends that have done a successful job at building ancillary investments.
Well, and sometimes it's tough because you're so focused at doing what you're doing. Yeah, you said that you want to be good at what's in front of you and laser focus, but good stuff. So as we're wrapping up the interview, do you have any exciting plans or initiatives that you're going to hoping to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so we're in a brand new 40,000 square foot facility in Dallas, and we get aircraft that come from California to New York, Florida, like into our facility for maintenance because they want to find a good maintenance company that's professional and gets their aircraft out on time. And so the exciting part is we have this huge facility. We have a great team running 7 days a week. And now just getting more the word out there of what we're trying to build. And then we've been sharing our scorecard numbers, which most companies don't, good or bad. Like we've been 100% on time on big projects the last quarter. But nice. I didn't want to sugarcoat it. The quarter before we were like 50%. And so the cool thing is the numbers are now coming together of how we're executing. So it's not just saying like a promise, hey, we're going to do better. I love to show objective materials that say, look how we're actually executing. So I am excited about a track record coming from a company that a year ago was touching its first plane. That's exciting to see, how big we can grow this thing, look at a facility expansion. And I love creating jobs. That's really exciting for us.
That's awesome because you're serving the airline, the owners, but you're also creating jobs, the mechanics that are coming in working for you. It's not like you're making a great place for them to work and to show up every day and want to fight for you guys and put up really work hard. So I love what you're doing. So Suresh, thank you so much for your time today and sharing some insights and tips with us. If any of our listeners want to get in touch with you or learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Pop on jetsmro.com. And then you can look my name up on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there, just sharing stories of what we're going through and kind of insider things that are value add. I think those are the two best ways to connect with me is LinkedIn and just pop on our website. So jetsmro.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And everyone, thank you for listening. Keep tuning in.
Thanks for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. If you've got grit, growth, and a great story, visit flexforwardpodcast.com/guest to apply and join us on the show.